are we waiting for?
We scoping the place out, man. We ain't gonna just run up in there. That's how you get shot.
Say that again. You wow. Ooh. Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely
Man, you
not.
don't know nothing about no war.
Everybody knows war. Who? Yeah. What it is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Good God, you all.
It ain't you all, it's y'all.
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 Man, you sound like a karate movie. Y'all.
Y'all.
Say it from right here with some soul. Y'all.
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 Let me show your goofy ass how to do this. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Come on.
Hey, Giants fans, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Rush Hour. This guy's Spartan Mike. I am back in the house, and me and Truth, who generally run the offseason draft show together, are back in session right now. So come on in. We're going to preview the Giants versus the Jets. We'll talk about what the Giants need to avoid in order to win on Sunday. We also have to discuss what it is that they have to be aware of when they're playing the Jets. Truth, what is going on?
Let's go, Spartan.
Tell me this is the best tandem in New York Giants rush. Nobody tell Craig I said that. I was just kidding, of course. But
Like peanut butter and jelly.
That's right. Amen. We got Mark Thompson already in the room. You knew he was going to be here. Mark, we appreciate you coming through. It's getting a little crisp up here in Chicago. I'm sure Barbados is beautiful this time of year. Truth. Giants are 2-5 right now.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know why I almost wanted to say 2-4. It's been a little bit of a disappointing season. We knew that we had a gauntlet of a schedule leading up to this, right?
Yeah.
But we're starting to get into smoother waters here. It was going to be tough beating the Bills. It was going to be tough beating the Cowboys. We knew that. Everybody knew that coming in. The question is this. We beat the Commanders. Now we're playing the Jets. All right? I think personally, this is going to tell us a lot about what the Giants can accomplish this year. Could they be back on the pace for a 9-win season? It's not out of the realm. It's not likely at this point. They got to avoid a lot of traps. But if they could beat a team like the Jets, we know that they can be a team that could possibly, squeeze in. There's 7 spots now in the playoffs, right? They could definitely get that 7th spot if they win. What are your thoughts going into this game for the Giants as a whole?
Well, this is not only a very important game for both teams when it comes to playoff. It's a big game for bragging rights, right? New York against New York. We talked off air. If both teams were winless this year, this would be a big deal. I mean, fans would be psyched up for this game. The players will certainly be psyched up. So this is a very big game, and the fact that they are both in the playoff hunt makes it even more. We'll get into. I'll get into exactly what I think the Giants need to do and what they can't afford to do. Because I did do an article this past week that right now, if you look at the Giants and the Jets, offensive, defensively, it doesn't take much to realize that the Jets have a very sound defense. Obviously, we watched them. I'm sure all of us watched them play Philly, and they were in not only that game, but that game they were really. The intensity was high, and they played lights out defense.
Very good football.
Right. They offensively with the absence of Aaron Rodgers absolutely hurt them because nobody can ever mistake Zach Wilson for Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
So their offense has taken a hit there, but they have a good enough defense that it can carry them to get a playoff spot. I know the Jets were looking to try to win that division, but like you said, there's plenty of there's 7 spots, right? We got 7
spots,
right? So they can certainly put enough wins together and get into the playoff as a wild card. And, when you have a team like that defensively, anything can happen in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Let me tell you something about the Jets that I don't really find with the Giants. The bell curve in which they play on a week-to-week basis is so wide. You don't know what kind of Jets team you're going to get. They were able to beat the Bills. They were able to beat the Eagles. Yet they go play the Patriots and they put on an abysmal football game. They hold it with the Chiefs. They did a pretty good job against them. I'll give them credit. But as I look at this Jets team, I really think if Aaron Rodgers was still playing and he didn't get hurt, I mean, they'd be a front runner to win the AFC Championship.
They
totally could have beaten the Chiefs that night. Can they beat the Chiefs in Kansas City? I don't think so. That would be very difficult to do.
Right.
But make no mistake about it, the Jets are a powerful team. And I know as Giants fans, we hate to say that. We do have the upper hand, in my opinion, historically in this rivalry, right? We have 4 Super Bowls. They haven't been there in a very long time. And this is no disrespect to the New York Jets or the Jets fans. I really have no beef with them. But, we've accomplished a lot in our franchise's history that the Jets haven't really quite amounted to. It's been a lot of seasons of frustration. But it stings every time we lose them. And we've lost the last 2. 2015 was an overtime game. We had a lot of games that season for the Giants that really bit us behind. And that was one of them. Went to overtime, blew it. 2019, it was the last year of Shermer, and we really weren't playing very effective football. They got us then too. And so even though we can look back with pride and we're probably upper hand historically, I really don't want to lose this game. I'll be honest with you. Then we're looking at the next time we play, it will be almost 15 years since we had beaten the Jets in 2011, which that was a phenomenal game. And don't discount the 2007 game either. That was a very underrated game, and the Giants rode to the Super Bowl. So we've had good moments against the Jets. We've lost the most recent 2. There's a lot to be won and lost here just in terms of the rivalry, as you were saying. Real quick, before we go anywhere, I just want to shout out everybody. Mark, we gave you a shout out, but always want to say thank you again, my man. Real Cold G, can't wait for your comments. I miss this. And damn it, I'm finally married, so get off my back.
I see a new name here, Albert.
Yeah, we'll get to Albert in just a moment. We're going through the regulars. Mark B is up in the house. Always love when you come through, man. Jay, I'm not looking forward to your comments as much as everybody else, but of course, you're always a pleasant guest in the you put out some funny stuff. We'll at least say that.
Yeah, he's funny.
Albert, we got you up in the house, man. What's going on? All right. Well, back to it. Truth, earlier in the week, you wrote an article about 3 things the Giants can do to win this game and 3 things they got to avoid, or 3 ways they could lose this game, right?
Yes, and it's really not rocket science. I'm sure a lot of the fans would echo what I wrote down. Here are my top 3 ways the Giants could win the game. I have, first of all and foremost, I have the Giants' offensive line needs to stand tall. And what I mean by that is, they're not as talented as the defensive front of the Jets, okay? But they need to neutralize them, okay? Keep it to a minimum. Don't let them dominate the game. If they can somehow, try to equal it out, and keep the game close, especially in the trenches, it'll give the Giants a chance to win. That's one that I think. If they let the defensive front 4 or front 7 dominate this game, the Giants can have a long day. They really will, because they won't be able to do anything without that offensive line, giving Taylor some time and giving the running back some time, some holes. We talked about this off the air. The second thing is red zone. All right. This is big. The Giants, cannot afford not only to not score touchdowns, but they cannot afford to make mistakes in the red zone like they did last week against Washington. Saquon, who rarely does do a fumble, he made a costly fumble in the red zone. And Graham Cano, who's usually lights out, even from 40 yards out, missed a 42-yarder. And that's usually just an extra point for him usually. So there's a lot of points right there we gave away that we actually made that game closer than it really should have been. The Giants were very fortunate that Washington didn't score, because they were right there. I think with a 7-8 yard line trying to score. So yeah, so that is vital that the Giants, if they do get in the red zone, and I think their opportunity will be less than it was with Washington. It was with Washington for the Jets. They got to get points, and they got to get at least a touchdown. If they get in that red zone, they cannot play field goals and expect to win this game. Although I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game. My third way I think the Giants can win is the defense needs to keep playing well. The Giants defense.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about our inside linebacker play. With Okereke and McFadden. They're playing phenomenal football right now. And that needs to continue against the Jets because the Jets do have weapons on the offensive side of the ball. We talk about their defense, but they do have players on the other side. And I like the fact that Dexter Lawrence had a man game the other day, and I think that's going to continue. And they need to get Williams also, Leonard Williams, back on track. He had a good game. They need to continue that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are my three ways I think they can win. You have any others that I didn't mention that you think that they need to do?
All I can really do here is reemphasize the points that you've already made. I mean, look, I do like the ball movement we've had with Taylor back there. We're getting to the red zone, but you're right. I mean, the fact that we are getting to the red zone and against Buffalo, we go 5 times, walk away with 9 points. And then we play, Washington and fumble a couple of times. That's unacceptable. They got to find ways to get touchdowns when they're down there in the red zone. And sure, sometimes they're going to have to walk away with field goals. It happens.
Yes.
But you got to get touchdowns where you can. You can't leave points on the board. It is infuriating because realistically, the Giants should have walked away from Washington with an easy win. Like it should have been a very absent-minded fourth quarter.
Totally agree. And you got a Giant team that right now, I think their red zone efficiency is like 34%. And they need to be at least around 50%. I mean, Washington was 62, so they Giants need to be around 50%,
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, on offense, they got to step it up in the red zone with the points. I also say this, the O-line, I don't trust this offensive line to not give up a sack. That's not going to happen. But if they can just hold their water, I think we can kind of get away with it here. The Jets are going to be a little bit more challenging of a team to face.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And listen, the Jets have a lot of talent. They have, throughout the roster, a bunch of guys that are playmakers. I think they're missing some well-rounded, just, solidifications. I think they still have a few gaps on their team that they can exploit. But listen, they are not a team to be taken lightly. I don't care that Zach Wilson's the quarterback. He's been playing okay football. I mean, what are your thoughts on Zach Wilson this season?
Like I said earlier, he's no Aaron Rodgers, but he is playing okay football. And the key with him, they don't need him to carry the load and go 30 for 40 or like an Aaron Rodgers type of game. They just need him not to lose the game for them.
Right.
They need him to have make some good decisions. So I don't know who their offensive coordinator is, so they need to have a good game plan that will allow him to have safe packages so he can get the ball out to his players like a Wilson or even to their running backs who are very good out of the backfield.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. But the thing for the Jets is obviously, and for the Giants to avoid, is that defensive line. Like I said earlier, they're very talented, man. I watched the game against Philly, and if the guys know me, they know I like to look at the line when they play. And those guys against a good Philadelphia Eagle offensive line, those guys were penetrating and getting to the other side of the line with such quickness. They really had the Phillies the Eagles offensive linemen on their heels. They had Hurts running, breaking his tempo, and look what resulted. I think they had 3 interceptions he threw, and he really got rid of them too soon. He forced it because he had no choice. He was going to get sacked. So that is so key, that defensive line for the Jets. If they're going to win, they're going to win because of that. That defensive line is going to dominate. If they don't dominate, Giants got a chance. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Absolutely. I think, you look at that defensive line for the Jets, they caused problems, and they played a very good offensive line for the Eagles, right? So
Yeah.
I do sit here with a little fear because the Giants' offensive line is not nearly as good as the Eagles. And yet, if they come with that energy, it's going to be very troublesome for Tyrod to get the ball off.
Absolutely. That's why I said earlier that the Giants offensive line can just neutralize, slow them down a little bit, just keep us in the game, keep it close. Don't make it where they're getting like we don't need a repeat performance like we saw against Seattle, 11 sacks and things like that. If they could just keep it to the minimum, damage control, I guess is the best word to say it. We have to keep that in mind. And let's not forget, another point I made about the Jets. Jets have pretty good running backs, with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook and even Michael Carter, who gets a few snaps a game. He's very good out of the backfield. And the Giants have a history of not being able to cover the backs out of the backfield, right? So,
well, Kevin McWalters here, Truth, brought up a good point because the Jets are also doing a pretty poor job against the run. We might see a running back fiasco on Sunday.
We could,
it
yes.
Very well resemble a very old school football game, tough defense, and lots of running the ball. I totally expect that. 135 yards per game from the Jets. Kevin, first of all, welcome to the show. Second of all, we appreciate you bringing the stat up. I did not realize they were giving up that many yards per game. If anybody can, where does that rank in the NFL? And where do the Giants rank in that? We want to get that information.
Well, the Giants, I think the Giants give up like 100. They did good last week, but before last week, it was like 147 yards a game they were giving up defensively.
So it's worse than the Jets.
Yeah, it's worse than the Jets. So again, like you said, we can see old school football here. Run the ball first and play off the run, and I think we both agree. Without giving it away, because my final one was about takeaways. That has to be, of course. Giants cannot make stupid mistakes and give the ball up. But I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I really do.
Right.
I think both teams will struggle in the red zone if they get in there, yeah.
35, it might be a field goal war for all we know. It could come down to a single touchdown. 35 points for the total is very low.
That is. That's a very low over and under.
For the record, this past weekend, Minnesota played Iowa in football. Their over-under was 30, and it was one of the lowest, I believe, a record low for college scoring. And, 35 points in the NFL compared to two of the slower Big Ten teams, it's pretty surprising. But it makes sense, right? Both teams at times struggle to score. I'll even go as far as to say the Giants have a worse problem with that than the Jets.
That's true. And, both kickers have big legs. So, both can kick 50-yard field goals easily for their team. So, yeah, it could boil down to a field goal game. It really could. It really could. Yeah. I see Mark Thompson's comment here about both defense. If they both play well, he says here, it could come down to who makes the least mistakes. And that's always the case. When a game is close, whoever makes a mistake, a fumble, interception, could be costly. He's absolutely correct.
Except, of course, when we play Miami and the Giants had three positive turnovers and they still lost. One of them being a pick six, and you can't make it up, Truth.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, they were just too powerful for the Giants, and
I think so.
The
Giants. Listen, and this is a preview show for the Jets. I have some opinions on the Giants' offense, but the low scoring thing has been an issue with the Giants now, and really it extends beyond this season. They kind of they couldn't really quite bury on the points last year either, and I am certainly not blaming particular players. Our offensive line being worse in the league does not help that situation one bit.
Yeah,
man, the Giants have got to find ways to put on points, and I know Daboll's taking more control of this offense now. So one of my hopes is they go into the Jets game here is that they're a little bit more tightly wound, a little bit more disciplined, and overall the offensive line continues to improve because there are some players that have been surprising me lately on the O-line. Glowinski's one of them. He played very good football against Washington, and he had a good game against the Bills too. So as long as the Giants continue down this road of improvement on the O-line, I can have a little satisfaction going into next year.
Yeah, and Craig had brought it up on Monday, and with PFF, and I'm not a big PFF guy either, but it did say that this was the highest grade that Quincy has gotten as a Giant. He was in the 70s, so that was his best game as a Giant, along with Bredesen, I believe, had the two best grades.
I think overall for offensive lineman analysis, I actually do like PFF. I do find they're helpful for that because it's a little bit hard to measure the offensive lineman outside of sacks and whatnot, right? So it's a little more, sometimes with the quarterback rankings, there seems to be oddities, right? It's a tool. We're allowed to use it. There's things I like about PFF. There's things I don't like about PFF. But, I mean, in terms of the offensive lineman grading, it's super helpful moving forward.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But we all know how the Giants have a hard time scoring. They're only averaging like 12 points a game. And that went up a little bit.
Oh, great. Yeah.
That went up a little bit from 11.8 to 12.1. But, the Jets are only scoring 18, almost 19 points a game, which is not bad. What's that?
That's enough to beat the Giants.
Yeah, that's enough to beat the Giants. That's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So this is a game. I see a lot of comments in here, and it's really around the defense. I'm looking at a lot of these comments here, and it is going to be about the defense. The Giants right now, their defense is their best unit right now. They're playing their best ball, and the Jets all year long has been their defense. So this could be a low scoring game. They're going to go punch for punch. Field position could be very important. So, punters now could become very vital in this game and how well they punt. And luckily, our kicker is having probably his best season. Definitely his best year as a Giant.
Yes,
so,
and he was very good last year. I mean, I've always liked him.
Yeah.
I got to tell you the truth. I'm getting to the point now. Is it better for the Giants when they're returning punts to just not even have a guy back there? I don't really say that jokingly because I'm serious. I don't want to get touchdown at the 4-yard line than for somebody to try to return it and then muff it. I mean, I feel like the Giants have struggled with this for eternity. I mean, last year against Seattle, it pisses me off watching it because right there was 7 points for Washington. And it was only 7 points they scored the whole game. Right? So I am dead serious where I would almost rather, especially if it's 20 yards out, just let somebody else, just let them touch it. I don't care where it ends up. Just don't fumble it because that's way more costly.
They did sign someone who's a little bit of a specialist, even though he has his issues with fumbling sometimes. I don't know his last name. I can't remember. It's Gunner something. I can't remember his name.
Well, I'm not sold after that one. Right. It's that guy from Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
All right, listen, Truth, I think we have to go buy Stickum. I think that's what we do, right? Do they still sell Stickum? Do we know about this? This isn't.
I don't know. I don't think
that's football when Stickum existed. Not to age you, but you're going to have to tell me.
I did watch it. I did watch football, and they had Stickum. Yeah, and it wasn't illegal back then.
Yeah, it's funny seeing those old videos. Right, they're all lathered up and they're catching balls with their forearms.
And it seems like the Oakland Raiders were more connected to that. I remember Lester Hayes and Fred Biletnikoff had it all over their arms, all over their arms.
But it probably took like 45 minutes to shower that crap off of them at the end.
You imagine? Yeah, probably scrub. It's probably hard to come off that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But we have to get this for the Giants punt returner. Like just fair catch it, put their forearm out like this, let the ball hit it, and it'll stick. That's all we got to do. I know it's not legal, but screw it. The University of Michigan football is cheating, and they've been getting away with it, right? So why can't the Giants just put a little stick them on their arms?
Yeah.
Did you hear about that, by the way, Truth?
No, I didn't. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, they've been sending scouts to watch the games in person. So, quick side note: even though the Giants got blown to smithereens, MSU got blown to smithereens on Saturday, Michigan football might be in a little trouble here. So, fingers crossed.
Some violations, huh?
Little violations, little classic NCAA violations.
So I guess how that works is it all depends on how severe. But what do they do? Take scholarships away when that happens?
Well, I mean, it was Michigan's program and coaching that was likely sending them there. So if they find out that Harbaugh directed it in any way, then the penalties are on him.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, quick side note while we preview the Jets, and not a single person in this room cares one bit about that, but I thought I'd bring it up.
Hey,
All
we
right.
got Tudo's in the house.
Tudo's in the house. Where the hell is he? Oh, wait, there he
Oh,
is.
he's there.
What up? Chris D is up in the house. Man, we got a great squad in here. Look at everybody. We know exactly who we'll invite for when we go live to the draft show. We're going to invite all these guys in here at some point or another. But we got another wild card. Nah, oh well. But anyway, all right. Go ahead.
No, and I was going to say, it's not like the Jets are a juggernaut. The Giants could beat the Jets, like I said last week. The Giants could beat the Jets, but they have to play very, very sound football. They can't make mistakes, silly mistakes, and they have to neutralize big time.
Oh yeah,
front seven of Giants, not of the Jets, not just the line. They got some pretty darn good linebackers, the Jets. So they need to just limit their dominance. I guess that's the best way to explain it.
No, I agree. I couldn't agree more. This is a home game for the Giants. Do you think that changes anything? The only thing in my mind that it changes the fact that we have the home field, so they're season ticket holders. It's not their game to go to, but let's be real. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of Jets fans there.
So explain to me how that works. So it's a Giants game, so the tickets go out to Giants fans.
Giants, you will have the rights to tickets, just like any other game. They already pre-bought them. They already bought the tickets. They got them with their season ticket package, right? So Jets fans who own season tickets are not entitled to their seats. However, look, I mean, a lot of people have friends, obviously, that are Jets fans, right? And if there's 4 tickets and somebody's bringing their son, they'll be like, you know what? Let me bring, my coworker's a Jets fan, and he'll bring his son. And that's how this one works. Now, I will be honest with you. When I was at the Giants-Jets game in 2007, it was a little different back then. StubHub was just kind of building up a little bit. The whole, second level ticket sales system, right? There weren't that many Jets fans there. Now, I mean, it's probably going to be 60-40.
Okay. I don't know if that will make a difference for the Giants. I
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I do see a close game. I do not see a blowout. I really don't.
No, I don't think either team's capable of blowing another team out.
Yeah.
I think the Jets are capable. I mean, there's a possibility in which the Giants can only score 3 points, and then the Jets score 19, and then it just we just look bad. But they're not gonna put up 40 against us.
No,
they don't have the means to do that.
I don't even think we're going to see any of the two teams, especially at the Giants, getting more than 1 touchdown. I stopped making predictions with scores, but I could definitely see touchdowns and a handful of field goals for the final win, for a final score. That's what I see. So the team who gets in field goal position more often will win the game, and that could be the Jets.
Right.
The Jets.
Totally.
They are favored by a little bit.
Right, 3 points. And again, low scoring game, right? So the assumption there is that a 35-point spread, the math there, I'd have to think about that, like what they would anticipate the final score being.
Well, Kevin McWalters has the Giants winning 16-13, which would mean that the both teams got touchdowns. Jets get 2 field goals, and the Giants get 3 field goals.
Touchdown and 3 field goals. I mean, look, Kevin, this is what we're talking. This is exactly what I'm talking about score-wise. This is going to be a very old-school football game, which a lot of fans would appreciate, right? Big defense, big running. I don't expect any of the quarterbacks to ball out, but I would appreciate. Look, if Tyrod wants to go out there and lay up 3 touchdowns, by all means, I would love to see it. What about him? What do you think he has to do better than he's been doing in the past 2 weeks in order to win the game? And fans in the section, you can as well. What does Tyrod have to do better than what he's been doing versus Buffalo and Washington?
Well, if he plays the way he played last week, and look, he's going to get. I would say probably around the same amount of pressure, maybe a little bit more from the Jets. He just needs to avoid, throwing the ball over, turning over, maybe interceptions, running out of the pocket. He's been pretty smart with the football, so I don't see that changing. I think he'll be smart and not throw the ball away into a Jets' hands. If he throws it away, it's going to be out of bounds. He's not going to be silly enough to force a throw.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Wilson, I can see him doing, forcing a throw.
Yep.
But not Taylor.
No. Tyrod's been moving around a little bit, pretty decently in the pocket, right? If it's coming under pressure, he does do a decent job of finding ways to get rid of the ball, and so oftentimes getting it to a receiver. But again, I mean, it's making push come to shove in the red zone, and that's on the entire Giants team. You can't turn over. You gotta make sure you're coordinated. You can't run out of time. No stupid penalties. That's something we haven't even talked about. I mean, offsides, holding in the red zone. It's killer because you can go from 1st and 7th goal line to 2nd and 17 very quickly.
Yeah.
And you get sacked. I mean, forget about it. Now it's a tough field goal.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That it's that defensive line of the Jets. It's probably going to dictate the outcome of this football game.
No doubt. No doubt. Look, we really need our best players to make some big plays, right? As the Jets will as well. We need Dexter Lawrence. We need Leonard Williams to repeat his performance from last week. We need Thibodeau to get another 2 sacks. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, and it would be nice. And it would be nice if Thibodeau could make a tackle other than a sack. I'd like to see him get more. A little more. They say he's
real quick. Somebody went to war about it today. I mean, Carl Banks got into a nasty
saw that.
argument. Which sports guy was that? Was that Tierney or was the other guy?
Tierney and Sal Licata.
Right.
And they
that
actually
ended very poorly.
It did. They actually cut off Banks. They just say thanks for the call. And they shut him down, which is kind of disrespectful. I thought to call Banks, to do that. And I mean, they're entitled to their opinion, but I didn't like the choice of words either. Saying he's a garbage and I don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I mean, we've everybody at Rush is, accidentally, had you don't want to piss off Carl Banks. He is not. I mean, he's not a guy you really want to tick off. I mean, if he doesn't, it's not even really like an opinion. But if he thinks that you're being overly egregious, I forget who did it here, but they were, questioning Ronnie Barnes, the doctor, and Carl Banks will come down. Like he's going to retweet you and. It's tough getting into an argument with him, right? But
it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I'm saying no. Carl Banks is he's very, very knowledgeable. He knows his stuff, and he
knows his team too, right? So I mean, if people say something that's just like speculation, he's going to shut you down.
Yes, he knows. He has information that he's not going to give away and say exactly what he knows, but he knows stuff that we and even those guys, Tierney and Licata, they have no clue. They don't know,
right.
And he knows what's going on. And listen, even if you disagree with him, it's a respect that even though you disagree, you still need to respect the guy because he earned it.
Totally. He knows the inside and out of the Giants organization. I mean, the sport. I mean, listen, we would never have any of these guys on and try to tell them like what we know better. I mean, we can't really do that, right? When we interview all these players and former players, we show them that respect. And, sometimes those sports media, guys are egotistical, so they get shut down. But, listen, I think there is some genuine criticism of Thibs' ability to play against the run.
But the Giants are averaging about 90-something yards a game in the rushing.
Yeah.
It's not like the Giants are a running juggernaut. You know, I understand the Jets are giving up 135 yards, but the Giants aren't a running team that dominates. So that's not. I don't know how much that's an advantage, you know, for the Giants.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. Maybe we get surprised and this Giants offensive line steps up again and plays lights out.
That would be very nice. That would be nice. I mean, look, you know, it's funny. I mean, the Giants' run blocking hasn't been nearly as bad as the pass blocking over the last few years. Like, it's been the one area, like even a guy like Hernandez, he was a decent run blocker. His pass blocking sucked, right? So
yeah. Yep, that's true.
It's a little bit better there. It's just I feel like Saquon is an extremely talented player. He's a top 5 running back in the league. Arguably, I mean, I'd probably go as far as to say he's top 3, right? Especially with his athletic abilities. But if the play gets blown up in the backfield or at the goal line, he's not really the best running back for those situations because it's the shiftiness, which is his strength. And when you're midfield already, you're going to break a linebacker's ankles. But like when you're running sideways and there's a mob there, granted, no running back can really get out of there, but it's going to be for a 2nd and 12. He's not going to be like Derrick Henry and get like an extra 3 yards after hitting a guy, right? And I don't want him to even try because I don't want him getting hurt. So it's, you know, you're right. The running game is very explosive at times, but, you know, a lot of the times it can be contained.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, we look at the secondary that we haven't really touched on that. Just we didn't break it down, but you know, both teams secondary, the Giants and Jets secondary. You know, obviously you got Sauce Gardner on the Jets side, who's a phenomenal player. We all know that. We knew that when we scouted him in our draft last year. And whoever he's going to cover, he's probably going to neutralize that player.
Right.
So the Giants Giants can't just run the football. They got to move the ball in the air a little bit. So who then becomes very important to that offensive passing game for the Giants?
It's going to be a little bit tough, right? I mean, who is it that's going to be stepping up? Is it going to be Waller? Is it going to be any of the other guys? I don't really know. We got to launch it every now and then. We got to launch it deep to Jalen Hyatt. We got to give it a shot. They have to give it a shot.
Right. So are we going to see that most of the day? Maybe Sauce Gardner against Jalen Hyatt, which would be a fun matchup. Yeah, that would be fun to watch. You know, is that who he'll probably cover? Okay. I'll love to see that because it'll give us an idea where Hyatt is. You know, we all know he can run, but so can Gardner. So it'll be a nice, fun matchup to watch in that game.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's gonna be a fun matchup, and look, I mean, try to get Sauce out of the game a little bit. It's probably best to put Hyatt and make him go out as deep as possible. Now, the free safety will likely pick up the coverage, but I'd actually rather Sauce be worrying about Hyatt and trying to prevent the 50-yard bomb to possibly open it up for Waller up in the middle, right? So that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Yep, I think you're right, Spartan. I think Waller becomes very important in this game. I think that I don't think there's any linebacker on the Jets that can really cover him, especially if Waller gets position and has a step on that guy. I don't think anybody can cover him.
No, on that team. It's going to be very challenging for the Jets.
Yeah.
So really, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, as we kind of come to a close of the show here, right, in summary, I'm just going to give my summarizations and you give yours about what it is that we got to do, right?
Yep. And while we're doing that, fans and guys on the line, just give us your scores, what you think.
Yes, final score predictions. We want to hear from everybody. Juan, Mark, Kevin, Albert, if you're still here, Tudo, Peter, Real Cold G. Give us your final score predictions. Well, not all.
Yeah, Kevin made a good point about Wan'Dale Robinson. He could play a good part in the slot too in this game.
Absolutely, and I don't think this is the kind of game for him to take off. I would really love to see him go out there and ball out at some point.
Yep.
Obviously, he's coming back from injury, so I'm not saying he's a bust, but
look at Mark. He's got like all field goals, 12-9.
Wow. 16-13. All right, Kevin, you're already there. Juan, 17-14. That's a very, very special final score for Giants fans.
That's right.
Means a lot.
22-20. Look at Peter.
Oh, Del, very all right. We're aggressive.
Well, that's a high-scoring game, Pete.
Yeah. Probably gonna be. It's gonna be one of those like weird ways to get to 20. Though it's gonna be like a
Safety.
safety and 6 field goals. That'll be it. Believe it, and it will happen. Kevin, I am with you. Look, the Giants totally have what it takes to win this game, but the Jets are also very well capable of beating much better teams than the Giants. So, all in all, Giants need to take control of the red zone. If they get there, they got to get touchdowns eventually. Their defense has to play as well as they've continuously been playing. And then special teams, just no mistakes. Don't put a guy back there on punt return.
Yeah.
Just screw it. You got to put a guy back there for kickoff. Don't not do that. But for the punt team, the hell with it.
I know it's sad. You know what's sad, Spartan? They had a guy pretty good in that department, but they cut him. You know,
Which
Jimmy
guy?
Crowder.
Yeah. Yep.
You know.
Oh well.
I was never in. This is a whole nother topic, but I was never supportive of Wes Shepard coming back. I just felt that he had his time and the injuries, and I just think that was the spot where they could have kept somebody a little experienced catching punts, but they gave it to a rookie. They thought that Gray could handle it. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of feel it with Sterling Shepard. I mean, he could have worked for the New York Giants and the organization. Now, listen, his dad was a coach.
Maybe he will.
Yeah, he will. But his dad's a coach at Oklahoma. There's a very good chance he might coach outside the Giants as opposed to taking some sort of administrative role with New York, right? So that's my guess. But you know what? Even though he's very good for the team culture, they do have to make decisions sometimes, for talent purposes. And I just feel like Shepard's had his time.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's unfortunate. Injuries. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is. All right, go ahead, Spartan. Give me your final breakdown of the game.
Final score: Jets 19, Giants 16. I unfortunately think we're going to lose.
Okay, but it's a close game. You're seeing a close game.
It's a close game. I just feel like the Jets have more means to make it happen.
Yep, I'm kind of in the same ballpark with you. I kind of see where Kevin is going with the 16-13 score. I think that kind of is there, or even Mark with the 12-9. It's possible they all only score field goals. So I think we're all in the agreement. It's going to be under. I think it's going to be definitely under 35 points.
Definitely, I definitely think it's going to be the under. No doubt about it. All right, Truth. I got one more question for you. Ready for this one?
Was it about your golf game? No.
Well, no, we'll talk offline about that because I do need help there. All right, Giants, Jets. You are from Long Island. What was it that made you a Giants fan and not a Jets fan like many in Long Island?
Okay. I had this in Twitter a long time ago. My first experience in football was, and nobody make wisecracks here when I tell you, 1968. I was a kid. I was 9 years old, and my dad was from the city, so we moved out to the island. I was actually born in Brooklyn. Moved out to the island. My dad was a big Giants fan. Obviously, back then there was no Jets. My dad was into football, so my first game was I saw Fran Tarkenton as a Giant playing quarterback, and I forgot who they played, and they won the game, and because my dad watched Giant football, I got hooked on Giants.
Yeah.
So it's basically what happened.
Family. It's all about family, isn't it?
Yeah, I think everybody here is probably the same thing. Your parents or a relative, somebody influenced you into watching a certain team.
Everybody, you don't have to age yourself, everybody. But Real Cold G would have been alive for that as well. Juan.
Yeah, I wasn't born there either. Real cool.
Mark, tell us your story in the comments section because I believe you came to school here and became a New York Giants fan. Is that correct? I love hearing everybody's story, right? And it's a little bit easier for
Yeah.
you and me. I mean, it was our fathers, right? Our fathers got us into the game for the Giants. But, every now and then you hear about a guy like Mark, from Barbados, fell in love with the Giants, multiple other situations. A couple guys, one guy in Green Bay, Kyle up in Green Bay. He's from Green Bay, Giants fan because of the movie The Little Giants from 1994.
That's a good movie. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Icebox. Remember Icebox?
They can steal some playbooks from there or some plays from that movie, no doubt. As I sit here though and reflect, I mean, Giants, Jets, it's kind of brotherly love. I mean, I don't hate the Jets. I don't hate Jets fans. We have to live with them. We have to work with them. Wait.
I saw that too.
LT said Jets fans are just Giants fans that couldn't get season tickets. It's kind of true, isn't it? There are a lot. There's a lot. Poor bastards. Oh, well.
There it is, Mark.
New York to study and live, 1984 to 1991. Well, those are great years to be move up here. And
That's what it was. Mark's a front runner.
Right. If Mark was 10 years older and it was 1974 to 1981, he wouldn't have been watching. Man. I'm kidding, Mark, but thank you. And by the way, he's stayed loyal and dedicated to the Giants ever since. So I have a lot of respect. And he was up at one of the games this year. So a lot of respect.
Yeah, I got to do that too.
What's that? Travel up to New York? You haven't been to games.
I got to get up there and try to figure it out. Like to do it early. I don't want to do it when it's too cold.
Well, things are getting warmer up here up in New York. So, I'm kidding. But anytime you come through to Chicago, Truth, come on through. I got your ticket. Let's have fun together. All right.
Okay, that's a deal.
When the Giants come on up here every 3 years, whatever the hell it is, 6. All right, it's not very often. Sure, I'm coming down to you in Carolina.
Okay.
All right, Truth. Thank you, and all the Giants fans out here. Thank you very much. Go Giants! I hope we take the city of New York, baby. Let's go. Peace.
See you, boys.